motion picture is presented in the interests of better selling in the drugstores of America. The scenes you will witness have been taken from real sales experiences. For realism, actual brands have been used to portray these actual incidents. Incidents you will recognize as ones which happen in your store, with your customers, and the brands you sell. Johnson & Johnson is proud to dedicate this film to those who not only made it possible, but made it practical. Druggists and salespeople from coast to coast. Researchers who recorded the selling methods. Sales and training managers of wholesalers and drug chains. Drug journal editors. And most important of all, your customers.
Listen, lady, that's not my problem. I only work here.
Well, young man, if I had my way, you wouldn't work here long. The idea.
Joe, may I see you a moment? Joe, you're one of my best men. But just now, you lost us a customer. Well, Mr. Nelson, she made me mad. Look, that customer's dollar is just as important to you as it is to me. It helps to pay our rent, our wages, or our stock. Our costs have gone right through the roof, and so will our jobs, if you and I don't increase our sales. I know you're right, Mr. Nelson, but we're in business to sell goods, to serve customers. And the dollars that keep us in business are made out there at the sales counters. Now, go on back out there and do your usual good job.
Sound familiar? Thousands of druggists, just like Mr. Nelson and you, are facing the very real problem of the high costs of operation. A problem that concerns druggists and salespeople alike, because every successful business needs teamwork. And you're probably asking right now, what can be done about it? To get the answers, researchers went into drugstores all over the country, perhaps into your own store. These researchers talked to druggists and salespeople in independents and chain stores, big cities and small, downtown and neighborhood locations. All kinds of questions were asked, questions whose answers add up to a successful drugstore operation. But they went even further than talking to you. What is more important, they talked to your customers. And they asked questions that revealed what your customers like about your stores, your people. What influences them to buy? For instance, they inquired what it was about certain displays that caught your customers' eyes, made them pick up the merchandise and buy it. The researchers asked what it was that influenced the customer to buy more than he had intended. They asked to what extent plainly marked prices on the merchandise influenced sales. Why does a customer take a larger size than the one he had asked for? Did he ask for a particular brand? And why? Was it an impulse purchase, or did he plan to buy it before he came into the store? The answers to these questions and many others poured in from all over the country by the thousands, from you and your customers. And from them we learned that you druggists and salespeople have an answer to this problem of the high costs of operation. Yes, you have an answer. And that answer is as close as your own sales counters. For that is where you can make a counterattack which will produce the extra sales and the larger sales that are an answer to your problem. And now you may ask, just how do we go about making this counterattack? The answer to that question is surprisingly simple. You'll find it in this book, Sell as Customers Like It. A book of real experiences, written by the drugstore customers of America and the people who serve them. Let's get down to cases right now and look in on another drugstore. The owner, Mr. Blake, represents our composite portrait of a successful drugstore proprietor. His business practices embody all the principles that you and your customers have told us add up to a successful operation. How does Blake look at his customers? Take that man, for instance. Blake mentally changes places with him and looks at himself and his store through the customer's eyes. That makes it natural for Blake to say,
"It's good to see you, Mr. Hall. How's the family?"
Oh, they're just fine.
"What can I do to help you?"
helping customers like Mr. Hall is Blake's business. He knows that an unspoken story walks in with every customer, that the customer is a person with problems to be solved. And this is the basic underlying approach to selling as customers like it. To understand exactly what this means, let's look in on this customer, Mr. Hall, at home with his family.
Clara, what have you been doing with my razor blade? Sharpening pencils with them? This is my last one. It wouldn't cut the fuzz off a peach.
In the next room is his teenage daughter, Mary Jane.
Mother, what am I going to do about my hair? It makes me look like a drip. Just come and see.
I'm busy, Mary Jane. Why don't you try a new shampoo? John, the baby has a little rash. We must remember to get some baby lotion.
Baby lotion? How'd this shaving lotion of mine get used up so fast? You didn't pour that on his little behind.
Don't be ridiculous.
Yes, the Hall family in their normal everyday lives have many needs and wants. To you and me, they might at first seem insignificant. But to the Hall family, they're important problems. Problems that often can be solved by the merchandise that every druggist carries in stock. Mr. Blake, would you say that the Hall family can find the answers to their problems in your store?
Well, they could find the answers here all right. Our job is to remind them that the answers are here. When I need something in the store, say a thermometer or KY jelly, I always try to jot it down in my want book. Take those customers over there. They don't have a want book. Most of the time, not even a shopping list. They use their eyes. That's why I try to make my displays, my shelves, and my windows take the place of a want book. I try to make this store a visual want book.
Blake knows that making his store a visual want book is important when store traffic is heavy and sales must be made fast. When we do as Blake does, we're applying the first of 6 practical principles in selling as customers like it. Treat customers as I-minded buyers. You know, when you first hear these principles, you're apt to say, "Why, I've known that all the time." Sure you have. But have you always put them to work? Here's Mary Jane Hall, the girl who has a problem with her hair.
Cuticle scissors. I need a pair of those. Gosh, only $2. I thought they'd cost more than that. Maybe I can save enough out of my allowance to buy them. Or else work Pop for them. Only $1.85. I'll bet Mother would love some of that for her birthday. Besides, I'm all out of it.
Notice that Mary Jane saw the prices of the merchandise that's on display. When she can't buy today, plainly marked prices help her to decide she can buy tomorrow.
There's Luster Cream Shampoo. That's what Joan uses. And I've seen it in all the ads.
But Mary Jane's problem is her hair. That's why this hair products display captured her eye.
I should brush my hair more, too. I would if I had a new brush.
May I help you, Mary Jane?
Oh, yes, Mr. Blake. I'm looking for a new shampoo that'll put a shine on my hair. Do you recommend this Luster Cream?
Yes, a lot of my customers like it very much.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right.
Oh, and I'm also thinking about a hairbrush. I like this one.
Yes, that brush is nice. Has good bristles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, that 2 of the things you have to do to have beautiful hair are to shampoo it regularly and brush it every day. That's a very popular brush. But for more thorough care, wouldn't you like to see this new type all-around brush? Here, try it in your hand and get the feel of it.
Oh, this is a nice brush.
This brush not only cleans and polishes your hair, but it puts new life into it. By turning it in your hand, you run your hair completely through all the bristles.
Can I try it?
So we see while Mary Jane was thinking about her hair, she found in Blake's display an additional answer to her problem in the form of a brush. Just seeing it there paved the way for this added sale. And that's not all.
Oh, bobby pins, I almost forgot. Will you wrap these, Mr. Blake, for me, too?
There's another sale. Yes, to help the customer, and at the same time to remind ourselves of related items, the merchandise should be assembled in related groups. In short, it pays to departmentalize. What's been your experience, Mr. Blake?
Well, frankly, I didn't do much about it until Mrs. Scott sold me on the value of grouping the merchandise by the use it's put to.
And 25 makes $2. Thank you.
Thanks for your help. You seem to understand all about Mother's problems.
Well, I've waited on so many mothers. I know by now what they need. So we've put all these baby products right here in one place.
Yes, the baby needs department takes no more space and saves us time. Besides, it registered so well at the cash register, I've departmentalized many other lines.
What's this? Oh, that's Hal. Blake has hired him for part-time work. And that display? Well, you remember your first day on the job, don't you? But Hal has yet to learn that there's more to display than making a work of art. He must go one step further. Once a customer sees the merchandise, we must make it easy for her to pick it up and decide whether she wants to buy it.
May I take some adhesive tape, please?
Yes, ma'am. Just help yourself.
Tommy, how many times have I told you not to touch anything in the store?
She wouldn't touch your pyramid, would she?
No, sir. But she walked right over there and bought the same kind of tape.
Well, Hal, this display is your first attempt. When I saw it, I decided to let you see for yourself that most customers are afraid to pick up merchandise from this kind of display. You see, displays are a sort of connecting link between the customer's problem and his purchase. We have to make it easy for him, Hal, to pick up the merchandise and examine it. After he gets it in his hand, he'll sell himself. About half the purchases made in a drugstore are not planned purchases at all. They are things customers buy on impulse. Pyramids are all right in the window, but we have to eliminate them in the store.
I have no comeback for that.
Oh, forget it. But remember this. When you get so you can build displays that invite the customer to pick up the merchandise, when you think in terms of departmentalization, and when you try to make our whole store a visual want book, you're treating our customers as I-minded buyers.
And that leads us right into our next selling principle. Treat customers as brand-conscious buyers.
You were on the right track, Hal, when you featured the most popular brand in that display of yours. You see, displaying impulse items pays off when they're the brands most people buy.
Yeah, Mr. Blake. When the customer found the tape at the counter, I noticed she shied away from one brand and took the brand she knew she wanted.
Right, Hal. Look around the store. You'll see we feature brand name items throughout. It's national advertising that helps to make these names the brands customers know and trust.
And when customers know and trust the brands we sell, impulse sales are made quickly, just like this.
I'll take these, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, a Coty compact. I need a loose powder one, Henry.
I'll take this too, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Henry?
Yes, my dear.
Thank you. 328 out of 5. $3.28 out of 5, $3.50, $4, and 1 is 5. Thank you.
Here's another example of brand consciousness.
I'd like a box of Whitman Sampler, please.
Whitman Sampler. Oh, I think we're all out of Whitman Sampler. Now, here's a very nice box of candy.
Never heard of it.
Very nice. There you go. Oh, here's a delicious box of candy.
Never heard of that one either.
It's great. I eat it myself. Gee, a guy can do the darnest things sometimes. Now, here's a brand new box of candy.
My girl
Just
likes
came in this
Whitman
month.
Sampler. I'll get it somewhere else. Morning, Mrs. Scott.
Oh, hello, Johnny.
Better get in some Whitman Sampler. Gonna have to get it somewhere else.
A fresh supply came in this morning. George, will you bring in some Whitmans, please? It'll be right out.
Thanks.
Okay. Nice going, kid.
Yeah, but I should have found out.
Oh, I don't know. It's your first day. You're doing fine. When you thought we didn't have what the customer asked for, you were smart enough to suggest another brand. But when we do have what they ask for, we find it saves our time, and we know the customer is satisfied. See?
Yeah.
Yes, Hal, it pays to give the customer the brand he wants. We've found out that about half the people who ask for a specific brand will walk out if we can't give them what they've asked for. That's one of the many reasons why drug people find it pays to treat customers as brand-conscious buyers. And now let's look at another selling principle. Number 3. Ask questions that reveal the full story. Just see how easily Mr. Blake puts this principle to work.
Here's your aspirin, Mr. O'Neill.
Oh, thanks.
How's the new job going?
Oh, the job's all right. The thing that bothers me is I don't seem to have any pep. Maybe the job keeps me on my feet too much.
I wonder if your trouble is the kind I had. You know, I'm on my feet as much as 10 hours a day. But I've got something now that really helps me.
What's that?
I've been wearing a Chesterfield supporter belt. Funny thing, it took my doctor's recommendation to make me try one. And I had them here in the store all the time.
And so a simple question leading out of one sale can lead straight to another. Mr. Blake has learned that people seldom offer him the whole story of their needs without some encouragement. So he uses friendly questions to get his customers to disclose more of their needs. Blake's right-hand man, Tom, has learned to do this too.
A couple of Camels and 2 packs of Cools for my wife.
Your wife's cold still bothering her, Mr. Ellis?
Yes. Oh, that reminds me. She needs some yes tissue.
Why don't you take 3 so she won't run out so quickly?
Okay.
Your son was in yesterday for a back plaster. Did it help your wife any?
That wasn't for my wife. It's for my mother. She strained her back.
That's too bad. Well, the heat and support of the plaster should help her. By the way, Mr. Ellis, if her limb muscles bother her too, why don't you try a heating pad?
That's worth considering. I'll ask her tonight and see if she'll use one.
Here we've seen how 2 friendly questions resulted in the sale not only of the yes tissues, but the next day a heating pad as well. There's only one sure way to get the customer's full story, and that is to ask for it. And when we have mastered that skill, we're ready for the next step. Principle number 4. Give product information along with the product. Knowing our product has always been an important part of our job. But the real test is how we get this information across to our customers.
Here you are, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Do you have any real thin leads?
Yes, sir.
They're for pencils.
Right over here. Here you are, sir.
I hope they're good and strong. I seem to break them all the time.
What kind of pencil do you use them in? Maybe the trouble isn't with the leads at all.
This is it.
Here's your answer. The tip of this pencil is the only part that supports the lead, and consequently it scores it. That's what breaks your lead all the time. Let me show you what I mean. Look at the tip on this pencil. Now I'll show you just the difference in the two.
So by demonstrating how the pencil grips the lead over a longer surface, Blake stresses that feature of the product which solves his customer's particular problem.
Are you interested in a pen?
We all can think of dozens of examples where the best way of giving product information is by demonstration. If we have a mother rub baby lotion on the back of her hand, she'll appreciate how it will soothe her baby's skin. If we actually put a wristlet on a customer, we prove to him that its elasticity makes it a perfect fit. And talking about demonstration, if we let the customer write with a fountain pen, he will be sure it fits his hand and his handwriting.
I'll take the pen and pencil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, wait a minute. I'll take the ballpoint, too. I've always wanted to write underwater.
All right.
That's a good one.
Yes, when we demonstrate a product and give helpful information about it, we are speeding the customer's decision to buy. Now let's look at principle number 5. Help customers save money. Help the customer in his serious job of stretching the dollar. When you do that, the customer is grateful, like Mrs. Hall.
Good morning, Mrs. Hall.
Good morning. A small bottle of Johnson's baby lotion, please.
Shirley. Here it is, Mrs. Hall. I'd suggest the larger size. You'll probably be back for another bottle soon, and you'll save 20 cents by buying this size.
Thanks, Mrs. Scott. I think I will take the larger size.
How is your supply of cotton balls and cotton tips to apply the lotion?
Notice that by placing the smaller bottle of baby lotion on its side and standing the larger size upright, Mrs. Scott emphasized the advantage of buying the larger size. It's simple little things like this which so often help larger package sales. Yes, when our customers know that we've helped them save money, they feel that we have their interest at heart. And this brings us to our 6th and final principle. Make customers feel welcome. Perhaps the most important principle of all, because it's what keeps our customers coming back. Here's Blake at home. And notice that when Blake's away from his store, he's like most of his customers, just like most of us.
Tom,
Yes, dear?
I hate to bother you like this just as you've settled down with your newspaper, but I just realized we haven't any coffee for breakfast unless, well, do you mind terribly?
Sure, I'll go down to Joe's Delicatessen.
Oh, you don't need to walk that far. There's a little one around the corner.
Well, that's all right. Don't mind at all. The fresh air will do me good. Besides, I'd rather go to Joe's. Just as soon as I finish this.
No, Blake doesn't mind going a few blocks out of his way, especially when he feels his business is really appreciated. And it's the same with all of us. We like to do business with those stores that let us know they want us as continuing customers. So let's check to see if our stores always give our customers the feeling of being welcome. For instance, Do our stores invite shopping? Do we make our customers feel welcome because we treat them as a good host treats his guests? Are we helpful? Do we really try to solve our customers' problems?
What kind of pencil do you use them in? Maybe the trouble isn't with the leads at all.
Do we sound interested? Is our approach friendly and sincere?
How's the new job going?
Are we enthusiastic about our merchandise?
This brush not only cleans and polishes your hair, but it puts new life into it.
And are we alert? For instance, take Blake and his salespeople. Knowing how easily children lose change, some parents hesitate to send them to the drugstore. So in Blake's store, the change is sent back in a special envelope, listing the items bought, their prices, the total cost of the purchase, and the change being returned.
Here we are. Now you hold on to that tight and don't drop it, whatever you do. All right? Bye-bye. Come and see me again.
Bobby may not get that package home in one piece, but he'll certainly have that change. Yes, it's little things like this which help to make our customers feel they are welcome. Now consider for a moment the results in sales when we put these 6 principles to work. Here are the items that you saw Blake's customers come in to buy. Here you see the results of the application of these selling principles. Extra sale plus extra sale adds up to faster turnover, and faster turnover adds up to greater security for every one of us, druggists and salespeople alike. And now let's return once more to the other drugstore. Here's Joe, who you'll remember lost a sale to this customer.
May I help you, miss? Ma'am?
I'll wait for the young lady.
Sorry about the other day, ma'am, when you walked out of the store. I don't remember exactly what was wrong.
Don't you? I can show you.
Yes, Joe, it was you. You were wrong. You lost your patience. You didn't make your customer feel welcome, and that's one of our most important principles. Think that over again, and then remember all of our 6 principles. Treat customers as I-minded buyers. Treat customers as brand-conscious buyers. Ask questions that reveal the full story. Give product information along with the product. Help customers save money. Make customers feel welcome. And Joe, if your actions at the sales counter reflect those 6 principles, the last page in the book, Sell as Customers Like It, will read not the end. Rather, it will read the beginning. Yes, the beginning of a new outlook on your job. The beginning of a new understanding of people. A new slant on the business of selling and how it can mean those extra sales, but even more than that. The beginning of better teamwork to solve the common problem of our business, the high costs of operation.
That means every one of us. Whether we're the ones who work for the wage or pay the wage, remember, our success will be in direct proportion to the part we play in this counterattack. Sell as customers like it.